What is up, everybody? It is Lawrence again, and today I decided to use natural sunlight. Too bad it's not a very bright day outside, but I feel like it's hitting me and I have this nice natural glow about me. And the reason for that is because we have a sneaker today that is 100% focused on sustainability and lowering carbon emissions. And not only that, it's a collaboration between two footwear companies. That actually equals four. Two footwear companies, Allbirds and Adidas, and it is an Adidas shoe. I assume that Allbirds is also probably selling it, but I didn't check. All right, so they're called the Footprint because the whole design around it was to reduce the carbon footprint of creating sneakers, everything from the materials to the packaging to the shipping and everything else. There's a lot of information. Normally, I wouldn't pull out my smartphone in the middle of this, but it keeps on talking about the previous version. I assume there are actually 6 versions of this, and I didn't realize that this collaboration had been running for so long. But inside the sole, you can actually see, I believe, the carbon emissions for each pair of sneakers that was released under this collaboration. So relatively interesting aspect of this sneaker, but I didn't realize, like you said, there were 6. So I'm gonna read stuff off the website. I'll probably put it on the screen here just so it's easy for you guys to also follow along and stop the video if you guys wanna read it yourself. But it says, created in collaboration with Allbirds, they're designed to reduce your carbon footprint. From the bio-based midsole to the non-dye breathable upper, everything is made with sustainability and earth in mind. The thing is, I don't know what these relative numbers mean, but 2.94 kilograms of carbon emissions for each pair, which I assume is very low. It's the lowest they've ever had for any running shoe. And this says there's no compromise on performance. I highly doubt that, just because I feel like, honestly, these are pretty flimsy sneakers, and they feel like, if I'm being honest, they feel like a really cheap pair of sneakers, so it is what it is. I also walked around for a little bit while they're pretty comfortable and lightweight. I feel like they're more of a sandal feeling than they are anything else. These are marketed as performance running sneakers, and I really don't see how. The rubber actually seems pretty durable on the bottom, but the midsole itself doesn't seem like it's that durable. So I'm gonna focus in on the sneaker itself as opposed to all the other carbon things that are associated with it. If you wanna read more, I'll leave that in the description of the video itself. I believe it's I don't know what the relative numbers are. I'm not a sustainability freak. So hopefully it's really good, and people that know more about the numbers that are presented by Adidas would love to understand more, and leave that in the comments below. I am going to now review it like another sneaker because I do feel like it's interesting, because it is a brand of 2 sneaker companies that are working together to create something new, and I think that rarely ever happens, so pretty sweet thing. In any case, the upper is made out of a textile. It's made out of cellulose fibers or wood grain or something like that to create it. So it is a textile upper. It is extremely, extremely lightweight and thin. I would say that there's really not much to it. The idea behind it is obviously to make it very lightweight, obviously for shipping purposes and things like that. Actually, speaking of shipping, I do need to show you guys this. This is the box that it comes in. It is the Allbirds and Adidas box. Very, very thin cardboard. Not as thin as the 550 New Balances, but pretty thin. And the idea is obviously to reduce weight by having smaller boxes, more lightweight boxes and things like that. And I assume this is made out of recycled materials, so kudos to that. Back to the sneaker. There's definitely stitching all throughout the sneaker. You can see these kind of like wavy patterns done in the stitching. I believe that this is probably for stability as well as kind of structural purposes, because I believe if they didn't actually add a bit of the structure to the shoe, it would be too floppy. It already feels a little bit much like a I don't know how to describe them, but there's like flip-flops that are not flip-flops. They have like the full shoe, but you slip right on. That's exactly what this feels like. Going up to top of the sneaker, you have flat style, but very thin lacing. I assume also to reduce the weight and also kind of the materials used. There is reinforced eyelets that you can see done in stitching in white as well. It's an all white sneaker. It's completely undyed. Then you can finish off the tongue with perforations in the area down here, as well as at the very top of the tongue as well. I assume for breathability purposes. It's made out of this very light foam. Moving over to the midsole, you have an EVA midsole made with 17% plant-based content derived from sugarcane, which is super interesting. You also have a synthetic outsole, which you can see over here. The other things about this sneaker are it's 60% less emissions per pair when compared to its previous version, which I assume is the version 5, and this is version 6. Upper contains 50% recycled materials. So interesting stuff, nothing groundbreaking. I mean, the shoe itself is super light, but I would say that the EVA midsole is a very standard EVA midsole. I found it to be, like I said earlier, very flip-floppy, but it's not uncomfortable, but I'm not a huge fan of the sneaker in general as a sneaker. I'm also just not a huge fan of Allbirds. I just kind of want to put that as a disclaimer. I do like Adidas, and so I thought I wanted to like the sneaker a lot because sustainability is important for our planet, and we should definitely be doing things in this arena. But I feel like whatever they've done with Parlay with the ocean plastics is much better in my opinion. It's just a much more structured shoe. While I understand what they're trying to do with the carbon emissions and things like that, it is just not the sneaker that I would want to wear. Honestly, I feel like I'd get it super dirty. It's super thin, and it's also winter in New York City, and so it's too cold to wear this throughout, but it could be a really awesome shoe to kind of pack and bring with you on travels to tropical vacations and things like that, because it's a pretty neutral color, and for the most part, the silhouette does look pretty good, and it looks pretty sleek. I do like it better than your typical Allbirds style, so kudos to Adidas for bringing Allbirds out of this like really techie, shitty, boring vibe and kind of bringing a little of a futuristic look to the sneaker, despite the fact that they also reduce carbon emissions drastically. When it comes to sizing for the sneaker, I went with my typical Adidas size, which is a size 7, and it fits perfectly. So you can see this in the video. You can see where my pinky toe my big toe kind of protrudes out. So it is, I'd say stick true to size. It is not a completely wide shoe, but it's not thin or narrow either. So I'd say for most people, go true to size with this, and it's pretty apparent. Hopefully you'll be able to try these on, but if you can't, I would stick true to size. And that's it, guys. If you guys want to follow me on social at MySqueakers on Instagram and newly minted TikTok, I have no idea what to do on TikTok. So if you have any comments on how to create TikTok content, leave that in the comments below. And if you like this video, definitely hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. You know what to do there. And that's it. This is the Futurecraft Footprint. Peace.